Welcome to the Coventry and Warwickshire Green Business Programme podcast. Subscribe now for more episodes.
Welcome to the Green Business Programme podcast. The price of energy is going up. The climate change emergency is becoming more obvious with every heat wave, storm, and flood. Businesses must become net zero by 2050. These statements are pressing hard on the consciousness of small business owners who are still fighting to survive a post Brexit world scarred by the pandemic. I'm John Bates, and if I asked you to spare me a few moments which could lead to you saving £5,000, I think you would give me a little of your time in these tough economic times. The most common question we hear when it comes to achieving net zero as a small business is, where do I start? So today, what we've done is we've arranged for a local businessman to come onto the podcast to tell us his story and, all importantly, give us a little bit of an inkling as to whether you could too be saving £5,000. So today we speak to Martin Gambling, Managing Director of GRM Consulting, a small business based in Leamington. Martin, hello, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Now, just share with us, if you would, the journey that you've gone through, and hopefully that will inspire others and talk about some solutions so that other SMEs who might be struggling at the moment can benefit in the way that you have. Perhaps let's start with a question just to get you off and running. Tell us a little bit about GRM Consulting.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me on, first of all. Who are GRM? Yeah, we're a small business based here in the Midlands, the UK, and we've also got an office in Japan, tucked away over in Nagoya. But we are what I describe as a computer-aided engineering consultancy and software provider. So essentially what we do is provide solutions to our customers' engineering challenges. We've been around for 20 years. And we're a small business, but I'm really proud. We do work for all sorts of pretty major companies. So we're working for all the Formula One teams, car manufacturers such as Lamborghini and Bentley and McLaren, but equally businesses in and around the Midlands and the UK that are less well known, but equally as important in the engineering community.
That's fascinating. Thanks for that brief oversight. Now, you decided to sort of start a decarbonisation program. So, what were the reasons behind that?
Essentially, it was during the second wave of COVID when you're often out walking because that's all we could do at the time, and we'll all remember that thankfully as a memory rather than anything
Yeah.
going through now. And I saw some advertisements for the Climate Pledge, which is a program organised by Amazon actually, and they were looking to invite companies to make a statement to try and be carbon neutral by 2040, which is 10 years ahead of the Paris Agreement. So I thought, do you know what? This is something that, as a business owner, I can actually have more influence than I can as an individual. And in a way, as a business owner, that it's my responsibility to do so. Make a change, and then the journey started as to, well, what can I do?
The Green Business Programme, and I understand that that's played a major role in helping you. But how did you find out about the Green Business Programme, and did you get out of it?
Good questions. I think at this point, I must give credit to people in my business
Okay.
because I'm often going, we should do something. What should we do? And so I set out a plan. We need to reduce the energy we're consuming and then try and generate energy and so on. And so I looked at the steps for taking that. And Sally, our office manager, who's the one that just sorts things out in the world, I asked her to go out there, find out, what the options were. And she actually approached the Coventry City Council, who then directed us to the Green Business Programme. Then we got contacted by Matthew and the Green Business Programme, and it went from there, and they helped us through the steps that we were benefited with. In terms of how they've helped, it's twofold really. It's very easy to just go, oh great, there's financial support, which undoubtedly is significant and an important step for businesses. We need that to be able to make these successes. But actually, it's also in how they provided an energy audit. So they gave us pointers as to where we were consuming energy and where we could make those improvements. I think that's not to be underestimated in terms of the steps and the support that they offered.
Okay, so those improvements then, that's obviously about saving energy and carbon and ultimately money. Do you mind sharing with us the details? What are you expecting to save?
So our aim ultimately is that our business will be pretty much about 85% of our energy will be created off grid. So with our solar installation, and that's come from generating, a huge amount of power with the solar installation we've added, but equally reducing our consumption. And that's something we can see the steps we've made because we put our investments into overcladding our roof. So that's improving insulation, reducing this of the solar heat from what was an old black roof. And before the solar panels were installed, we actually saw a 20% reduction in energy consumption and therefore carbon production just through those changes. And so that's a great saving in itself. And
Yeah.
then since we've had the solar in, which is now only just short of a month, our energy consumption in August is 15% of what it was in July. So 85% reduction is really significant.
Certainly is significant. And are you prepared to put a sort of a financial figure on that?
Yes, our electricity bill now, with the rates that they've gone up to, would have been around about £1,500 per month, and now they're going to be around about £300 per month, which is really quite a big saving. So, I mean, there's been a really big outlay that we've invested. We've had some financial support, which has been, a great facilitator, but still, there's been an outlay on our side a lot. But I think, looking at the calculations, that should pay back within about 5 years, which in terms of business investments, I think we can consider is a good short time period.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Now, obviously, things in life often don't work out the way that you'd planned. So there'll have been some challenges along the way. So, tell us about some of those challenges and perhaps how you overcame them.
I think the biggest one is I had this grand idea to put solar panels on the roof of our building. We're in this industrial unit. We're an office-based business, but we're in industrial unit. We've got a great big roof. I thought, fantastic. We'll get solar panels. It'll be brilliant. And then we approached the businesses and they said, we're not putting solar panels on that roof. That's an old asbestos roof. We're not going near it.
Okay. Right.
So that was quite a killer blow for a while.
Yeah.
So I think the key thing is I really wanted to not be deterred. It's very easy to go, oh, it's a bit expensive, it's a bit hard, we won't do it. It's somebody else's problem. And I really felt compelled that I want to be able to look back at the people I work with people I know, with my children, and go, I've done what I can. I've made a difference. So we thought, okay, press on with this. And essentially what we did was we staggered our investment over 2 financial years. So in 2021, we made the investment on overcladding our roof, which improved the investment, reduced the heat coming on in the summertime as well. And then the solar panels have been added this financial year.
Yeah.
And going back to the Green Business Programme, they were great with that because we realised that we couldn't do it in one go. We didn't have the funds to do that in one go,
Yeah.
and they were able to stagger the funding they provided to us in 2 stages, so to support those 2 increments that we did.
Okay, so the really big step then, of course, apart from those practical issues, is that you've committed to achieving net zero by 2040. So, you should be very proud of. And what are the next steps in that sort of journey towards net zero? You've obviously had to put a considerable amount of investment in and think about this. What happens next?
It's a good question, and it does get harder and harder from this point, I realise. And so I've made this bold pledge, and we've signed up to it. So this is something we've got to achieve. And I think, having done what we've done in the last sort of 18 months, the next step in terms of what I would say are described as scope 1 and scope 2 in these different carbon emissions, as I've learned, has been on this journey,
Yeah.
which are our own produced energy, produced carbon, and the energy that we consume. I think the next 12 months is really to monitor what we've achieved and get a good 12-month report almost on what we're consuming still and how that returns. And that allows us for our funds to recover a little bit, and that's the right thing for us to do. But alongside that, we're going to start looking at the scope 3 emissions, and those ones are really where we're having to engage with our suppliers and our staff a little bit, encouraging the staff to make some changes where they can, and looking carefully where we buy products and what their carbon footprint is as well.
Yeah, and I think as you're sort of suggesting, Martin, these things aren't sort of done in isolation. You're not on your own. You've got to take everybody with you. So it's encouraging the staff to make changes that'll enable them to help you be more eco-friendly. What have you done to encourage the staff?
Well, in fairness, then we've got quite a nice, relatively young team of people in the team. I'm one of the oldies, as they keep reminding me all the time. I don't like it, but they do. And the key success has been involving them in what we're doing. We have a thirdly meeting just to tell the staff what we're doing as a business and so on. And we've taken them on the journey of how we want to, commit to the climate pledge, how we're going to achieve that, the steps of the solar, the roof, the lighting we've changed to reduce energy, all these various steps we've done. And they've seen that we're making an effort. And I think they themselves know that there's a need to make a change. They're young people, they want to see a future. So seeing their employer do it, they're open to making steps themselves. And it's the silliest thing, but I can honestly say I've noticed that those that are living in Leamington Spa, which is where our office is, they either walk or cycle into work wherever possible. And then we're a business that I think thrives on communication. So we do work in our office as well, but we do all of them have at least one day working from home. So that's one less journey if they are driving. And
Yes.
those that are a bit further are having the option to have 2 days of work a week at home. So it's just taking those steps and really talking to them. They've engaged with us quite naturally.
So for other business owners that might be listening to this who, were in the position that you were in a little while ago and you were trying to perhaps pluck up the courage to make the investment, there are some, big decisions ahead of you. What advice would you have for those sort of other local businesses who are perhaps right at the beginning of their journey?
It's an important question, and it's actually something that I want to do my best to make happen. Because if I make a change, that's great, but I'm this much in the world, and if lots and lots of little businesses do a similar thing, we get to make that difference. And the key thing is just make a decision that you're going to do something, make a difference about it. I think it's easy to say it's somebody else's challenge, or the big companies need to do something first. And we know governments have challenges, need to do things as well. And it's not an easy time for anybody to make this leap, but we need to. So I think take a step. I would urge them to get in touch with the Green Business Program. They're really helpful, and they have good steps like the energy audit to start with to see where energy is and what they can do, and then just work out some milestones that are manageable. It seems quite daunting to start with, but if you just do something in year one, something in year two that you can afford to do as an investment and a change, then all of a sudden you, all being well, find yourself thinking, hang on a minute, my bills have gone down and I'm doing something good. That's the long term aim I think we've got to all shoot for.
Yeah, that's the big win, isn't it? So, Martin Gamlin, thank you very much for sharing your story on the Green Business Program podcast.
Thank you.
So if you'd like to know more about the support that we at the Green Business Programme can offer, then please do join us at the Green Business Programme Warwickshire event, which will take place on September the 14th in Stratford-on-Avon. This event will be delivered in partnership with Warwickshire County Council, and it will discuss local green projects and the support available to Warwickshire SMEs. Please use the link in the description to sign up for this event. Thank you for listening to the Coventry and Warwickshire Green Business Programme podcast. The Green Business Programme is part funded by the European Regional Development Fund and delivered by Coventry City Council, Coventry University and Coventry University Enterprises. This podcast was produced by Maria Covlea. I'm John Bates. Thanks for listening.